This is a student right here who used raw milk to help get his heartburn under control. Now, this student is inside my Rapid Gut Healing program, and before he enrolled in my program, he had been drinking raw milk for a very long time, and he still had heartburn and nausea. It wasn't going away. And now this is quite confusing because when we read books like The Raw Milk Cure by Dr. Porter, he was very successful by putting people on a raw milk diet where they would just drink nothing but raw milk, about a gallon to a gallon and a half, that's 4 to 6 liters, every single day for a period from 1 to 2 months. And he had a very high success rate. Now, in the modern world, I don't see that it's not very successful. I've drank a lot of raw milk. I've worked on a raw milk farm, and people just do not cure their stomach ulcers, their heartburn, just by consuming raw milk. There's other things going on behind the scene, which Dr. Porter was addressing. He just wasn't aware of it. So, and this is why it's really important to get help. And work with somebody who has experience, who has, guys, I have seen multiple cases of heartburn. I know exactly what is going on. I understand the root cause. And so he had been struggling for years with heartburn, and he's been in our program for about maybe not even a month, and almost all of his symptoms are gone. And that is because he's addressing the root cause of the problem, and he's eating whatever he wants. He's getting better. He doesn't have access to raw milk right now, but he's doing it with regular milk, which is a fraction of the cost. If you buy raw milk in California, buying raw milk anywhere is almost $10 a gallon, if not 15 if you live in California. It's nuts. So imagine spending like $100 a week on milk to do this crazy raw milk cure and then not getting benefits. Now, raw milk is a great food. It is my favorite food, but it will not heal heartburn. It will not heal those ulcers in your stomach causing this heartburn. What is doing that, we refer to something called German New Medicine. Now, Dr. Hammer saw that everybody with heartburn in their temporal lobes, which would be located here, so about here, 100% of the time, there would be a ring-shaped formation. The temporal lobe is here. It'd be at the back of it, on the right side, right here, 100% of the time. If someone had heartburn, these concentric rings would be very sharp, meaning that the special program, that this organ is in overdrive. And a lot of you know this. This is in our language. Oh, I'm so stressed out, you're giving me heartburn. You're giving me indigestion. And it is caused by stress, but it's caused by a very particular type of stress. And for this student, it was territorial anger. He has severe anger issues, which he's doing a great job getting under control with the help of one of my coaches who is well trained in hypnosis. So just let me tell you about the insane value inside my Rapid Gut Healing program. So it comes with over 20 hours of videos, which will explain everything in more detail. You get to talk to us. We answer your questions every single day inside a Facebook group. There's me, Deanna, who's been doing German New Medicine for 10 years, and then I have a trained hypnotist who's been doing hypnotism for a super long time. He has multiple certifications, and he helps us change these emotions that are causing our symptoms. And you get to meet with us 3 to 4 times a week. Every week you can talk to us on a Zoom call and ask us anything you want. An insane value. It's just for $4.97 or 6 easy payments of $97. You cannot find this value anywhere else. You're not going to find anywhere else gut health experts that actually address the root cause of the problem. Because if you go anywhere else, they're going to, heartburn is very dangerous in the holistic community. They're like, oh, eat a bunch of cayenne pepper, take a bunch of extra apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. Yes, let's rub more acid into our ulcers. That's going to make them feel better and magically heal. So we have to think about what is true 100% of the time. 100% of the time, there's a ring in the brain. 100% of the time, people aren't consuming raw milk. There's tons of people who use raw milk and don't use raw milk, and they don't have stomach ulcers. There's tons of people who drink raw milk and they still have stomach ulcers. It's the variable that's missing isn't milk or particular food. The variable that's missing is or that's has the most effect, or 100% of the effect, is the conflict. It's a conflict active symptom, this heartburn. So I'll give you an example. This student would just be angry. He had a very short fuse. Throughout the day, getting cut off in traffic, somebody saying something to him that he doesn't like, he would get very angry, and that would start the heartburn. And then he would get over it, and this would go into the healing phase, and he would feel nauseous. Another example that I can think of is I had a girlfriend in college, and we were kind of fighting a lot, and so she was like thinking about breaking up with me and, doing something else with her life, and it was an identity conflict. She didn't know what to do. She was conflicted, and she had very bad heartburn and very bad indigestion during that time. And then after she broke up with me and she went on her new life, it went away. She didn't change anything else about her life other than that. It's amazing that the heartburn will go away instantly. It will turn from a burning pain into a pressure pain. So there's two parts of the stomach. You have the lesser curvature and the greater curvature. So most of the acid is down here in the greater curvature of the stomach, but no ulcers form down here. It's not the stomach acid causing these ulcers. Otherwise, they would form down here. The ulcers are up here. They're up here, up top. And so what happens? Stress is a threat to your survival, and it puts an organ into overdrive, whichever one thinks it's best to help adapt to the situation. So this responds with cell loss. And so you'll have like mild heartburn if they go down here with an endoscopy and they don't see anything, but you have heartburn, they don't see any ulcers. The ulcers are very tiny, they just can't see them. But people with severe heartburn, you're going to see huge ulcers right here. And so the great thing about raw milk only hangs out in the stomach for maybe like 15-30 minutes. And so there isn't a lot of food being smashed into the ulcers versus, again, the holistic community just recommends dangerous things for people with heartburn. Oh, only eat one meal a day. You're going to eat this one big, huge meal that fills up your stomach and starts smashing food. It's going to sit in your stomach for hours and start smashing food into these open ulcers. And meanwhile, you're doing nothing to address the territorial anger or the identity conflict. So why the raw milk cure was working, it was only working about 100 years ago, and this is because life was completely different 100 years ago. These people would have to travel by train, take off months of work, and they didn't have cell phones, they barely had radio, so they were completely disconnected from the world when they went to these raw milk sanatoriums. They went to these healing retreat places. And so they would just drop their conflicts because their family wasn't there, they were there all by themselves, and I'm sure they spent most of the day drinking milk and peeing, so they didn't really have anything to think about between when you drink 1.5 gallons of milk a day, all you do is drink and pee. Every 30 minutes you have to drink a little bit of milk. You're pretty much wiping the mind clean. There's no conflicts because all you can concentrate on is drinking and peeing and probably pooping too. So when you resolve the territorial anger, when you resolve the identity conflict, the cell loss stops, the ulcers stop forming, and they start to get restored with the help of bacteria and fungi. So you might get diagnosed with H. pylori when this happens. And the H. pylori is actually helping with the cell restoration to stop the heartburn. So this will turn into a burning pain, will go into a pressure pain, and you'll start to, if it's a different type of pain, you'll start to feel nausea and vomiting. That's actually a healing symptom. That is a good thing. If you were having it on and off, on and off, on and off, then this territorial anger or this identity conflict is on and off, on and off, on and off. Now, men are most likely to experience it as a territorial anger, Women are a little different in identity conflict. It could be identity conflict or territorial anger because there's a lot of things playing with, this is like the male way to experience the conflict, and this is the female way to experience the conflict. And women have a lot more things playing with their hormone status than men do. You got birth control pills, you got pregnancy and menopause, yada, yada, yada. So, I usually have to talk to someone to figure out what's going on. For men, though, it's mostly a territorial anger. Very seldom it's an identity conflict. And you also might experience some depression when your heartburn is bad as well, because depression is controlled from this side of the brain. When we're conflict active, we're depressed from a temporal lobe on this side of the brain. So guys, I would love to explain more of the details to you and help you work through these conflicts, help the hypnotist in my group help you work through these conflicts so you can make these ulcers stop. And the best I can serve you is inside the Rapid Gut Healing Program. But get in quickly because inflation is insane right now. And I'm going to have to increase the price to $1,000, and that's what my other services similar to mine are charging. But I want to give you guys a chance to get in now while it's still very low. Remember, we have that payment plan. We have a 3-month refund guarantee, no questions asked. And yeah, guys, I just want to help you get better. I want to hear your stories. What stress is causing your heartburn, and what can I do to help you fix it? So leave a comment down below, hit the like button. Raw milk is a great food because it only hangs out in the stomach for a very short time, so you're not smashing stuff into the ulcers, but it cannot heal. You have to resolve the territorial anger or the identity conflict.